What we have to hope is much of the resolution gets done outside. Bankers sign on to it, the promoters bring in equity, we get the projects back on track rather than leave them languishing. That will be beneficial to the country and to its growth. And in the meantime, the NCLT deals with a few really tough cases.
The motivations for the decision were to deal with the problem of high-quality counterfeit notes and unearth black money that may be held in cash. The decision was not and has not been taken in haste, but after detailed deliberations, the consequences that have emanated from that were taken on board, and that's why the planning, the process, and the implementation was what it was, keeping in mind that high secrecy had to be maintained. The central bank and the government were conscious of certain immediate difficulties for the public at large.
The intensity times the pit were so physical that before the start of the opening bell, we could pick our feet up off the ground and not fall.
Chicago Mercantile, the Board of Trade, Board Option Exchange, even the Chicago Stock Exchange. The biggest pits in the world are here in Chicago.
The guys that trade their own money, by far, are the toughest and best traders you've ever seen.
We started at 7:20. By 7:30, we were dripping wet of sweat. Fortunes had been made and lost.
You're not managing $1 million, you're managing $50 million. Let's do the math here.
You know, it wasn't unusual for guys to be making 20, 30 grand a day. It wasn't unusual for them to be losing 10, 20, 50,000 a day.
It gets tough when you're ripping through savings like a lunatic.
It's a very competitive environment. I know the guys on the trading desks in New York are also very
Business is good. Profits are strong, and the mortgage continues to be the bedrock on which this economy is built. And yes, we had to take some losses in our subprime department last year, but those losses will be contained at only 5%. Now, in our residential sector, our rollout of those variable rate packages were gobbled up by the consumer.
I have a question, please.
Sir, the Q&A is after my statements, but you know what? You seem anxious.
Thank you.
How can I help you?
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Would you say that it is a possibility or a probability that subprime losses stop at 5%? Thank you.
I would say it is a very strong probability, indeed. So, back to the residential sector. When we rolled out the new variable rates package...
Excuse
me. Yes, sir.
Zero. There is a 0% chance that your subprime losses will stop at 5%. Zero. Excuse me.
I want to buy swaps on mortgage bonds, credit default swap that will pay off if the underlying bond fails.
You want to bet against the housing market?
Why? Those bonds only fail if millions of Americans don't pay their mortgages. That's never happened in history. If you'll excuse me, Dr. Berry, it seems like a foolish investment.
Based on prevailing sentiment of the market and banks and popular culture, yes, it's a foolish investment, but everyone's wrong.
This is Wall Street, Dr. Berry. If you offer us free money, we are going to take it.
My one concern is that when the bonds fail, I want to be certain of payment in case of solvency issues with your bank.
I'm sorry, are you for real? You want to bet against the housing market and you're worried we won't pay you?
Yes, that's